Welcome to today's episode, in which I try and turn a popular sandwich filling into a cookie. After I published the gluten-free chocolate chip cookie recipe, my dear friend Sophia sent me a message saying, can I make peanut butter cookies? So I thought, yeah, sure, I can do that. And then I thought, what if I stuff them with jelly? So that's what we're going to do today, and they're going to be gluten-free as well. I'm going to use chickpea flour this time because I haven't really baked with it in a sweet good. I've only ever cooked savoury things with it, so it's going to be an experiment, which I'm quite excited about. I started this recipe last night because I wanted to freeze the jam, so I'll take it to the freezer. So I've been freezing little balls of strawberry jam jelly overnight, just to hopefully make it a bit easier to then stuff those inside the cookies. I opted for a really cheap jar of strawberry jam because I wanted something that was one consistency rather than having pieces of fruit in it, because I just thought that's not going to be quite as pleasant. All I did was blob little teaspoonfuls onto a silicone baking sheet, put that on a metal baking tray, and then flattened space in the freezer drawer just to place them on. I'm going to leave those in as long as possible, and I think when it comes to stuffing the cookies, I'll probably leave them in there and take maybe 3 or 4 out at once and do those and leave the rest in, just so they don't melt. Let's get cracking. I'm basing the recipe on one that I found for chocolate chip cookies on ambitiouskitchen.com. I'll pop the link in the description for you. There's this chocolate chip, obviously this one isn't going to be, but most of the ingredients are about the same. So I'm going to start with creaming the peanut butter and some sugar. I opted for smooth peanut butter on this one. I don't know, I just thought it's probably the safest one while I'm getting to grips with the recipe, but feel free to use chunky as well. 140 grams of peanut butter. I've had this on the radiator to soften, just so it's a bit less work getting out of the jar. I'm going to add half a cup of sugar, which is about 100 grams. The original recipe says to use brown sugar. I've only got dark brown soft sugar, so I thought I'll use half of that and then half golden castor sugar, because the dark brown one has got a very intense flavour. I didn't want that to kind of dominate the cookie. I want to be able to taste the peanuts and the jam. So I've kind of done half and half, but feel free to use whatever you like in there. I'm going to cream those together so it's nice and smooth. You can do it by hand. I'm going to use a mixer. Once you've got it to a nice even consistency, it's time to add in some vanilla extract, and I've made a chia seed egg replacer. All I did was ground up a teaspoon of chia seeds. That gives you about a tablespoon of ground chia seeds, and then mixed in 4 tablespoons of hot water, and it gets very gooey and snotty. Scrape down the sides of the bowl a little bit. We want a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then add in the egg replacer. You can also use flax seeds. If you want to see it kind of done in action, check out the gluten-free chocolate chip cookie recipe. You'll see it, how I did it there. Mix that together. So again, just nice even consistency. Just check there's no big lumps of chia seed or anything. Do the dry ingredients separately. This is the stuff I'm using, gram flour. So you might see it as gram flour, garbanzo bean flour, chickpea flour, or besan. I think I'm saying that right. And it's just dried chickpeas that have been ground. Do not eat this cookie dough raw because you'll regret it. It's minging. This stuff just tastes very, very bitter. I've said it in other videos, it tastes like earwax. If you've ever scratched your ear and then forgotten and bitten your fingernail. Yeah, it's gross. So yeah, this isn't a cookie dough recipe, I'm afraid. And we want 1.5 cups, about 180 grams, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of baking soda. Sieve that together. You definitely want to sieve chickpea flour because you get these great big lumps in it. They're a bit of a pain to then try and get out again. So the mixture's got a very strange consistency. It's a bit gelatinous, almost. It's kind of fun. Giving the dry ingredients just a quick mix, just to make sure there's no, streaks of baking soda or salt or anything like that. But you don't want to take out too much of the air. I'm going to combine the dry ingredients into the wet and then mix everything together again. As we can see, the texture is not very cookie dough-like. I'm going to assume that that's the chia seed egg. I suppose a regular egg wouldn't have swollen the way that the chia seeds do. I'll add in some plant milk, tablespoon at a time, until it gets to a nice dough-like consistency. So I'll do 2 to start with. Do another 2. Yeah, that's looking much better. We've got cookie dough success, yay! Setting up 2 baking trays with silicone sheets. You can use greaseproof paper as well. I'm preheating the oven at 180 degrees C, which is about 350 Fahrenheit. I'm gonna grab some little jam pucks. The texture of these has gone a bit like a gummy sweet, and I guess that's the pectin that they put in jam. That's the setting agent. Interesting. That might make a nice little candy dunked in chocolate. Wet my hands. So I'm grabbing a little piece about that big, spread it around, and then pop that on with the little jam bits. Yeah, I think I made the jam a bit too big, but that's okay, that's fine. And then I'm going to completely close it in, pop it on there. Ah, nice and easy. Keep your hands wet, that'll make the job easier, it won't stick as much. Pinch and smooth it, a bit like making a dumpling. Patch up any gaps. Definitely keep the remainder in the freezer because it softens very quickly. The jam, I mean. I'll see you when all this is done. All the cookies are shaped. Managed to get 19, slightly frustrating amount, but anyway. So I'm gonna pop these in the oven. Thoughts just popped in my mind that because the inside's gonna be wet, that might do something to the cooking time. But I'll leave it for now and then just keep an eye on it and we'll see what it's like. So they'll be in for between 9 and 11 minutes. Cookies have had about 11, 12 minutes. I had a microphone issue. Let's pull them out and have a look. Ooh. I mean, these look incredible and the house smells fantastic. So we've had a couple of burstages, but they held up really well. And that will set up a little bit more once they cool down. So yeah, just one mass casualty. So I'll let these cool down for a couple of hours at least, let them firm back up again. I'll let them cool for a couple of minutes and then I'll transfer them directly onto the rack just so they can cool and crisp up. And we'll see you back for stuffing them in the FaceTime. Cookie snaffling time. Some of them lifted straight off and a couple of them did stick to the baking sheet. So yeah, make a judgment call. I think possibly going at 170, so 10 degrees cooler and maybe 5 to 7 minutes longer might be a good idea. Just so you can get the bottom cooked a little bit more, baked a little bit more, I should say. But I think these are gonna be incredible nonetheless. I snagged one of the intact ones. As you can see, it's threatening to burst out, but it's all securely tucked away inside. Break it open. Got a feeling all the jam's gonna be there. Oh, that didn't break at all the way I wanted. Stuff that in. Now that's a cookie. Who'd have thought chickpea flour would taste so amazing as a sweet? Oh my goodness. There's an ever so slight chickpea flavour on the bottom bit. And I think what's happening is the jam is keeping the bottom wet, so it's just not baking as much. So I think, yeah, dropping the temperature down and doing it for a bit longer, that should sort that out, no problem. There's too much jam in there. Maybe do half a teaspoon. But my goodness, oh, that's stunning. The texture of it is like a cookie made with wheat flour. Whereas kind of the gluten-free flours, because they're starches, they're very crisp the first day and it agitates my teeth. But that's just, yeah, I don't think, you know, if you gave that to someone and said, what's that made out of? They wouldn't say a chickpea. There's some chew to it, but it's nothing claggy. It doesn't clump into your mouth and coat the roof of your mouth. The peanut flavour is there. I had a bolt of inspiration at 3 a.m. I was like, oh, I'll put salted peanuts on top, like chop them up. But by the time I woke up, I was already low on energy and couldn't really face going to the shop. But that would work really well. That combination of salty and sweet, perfect. That mixture would work great for chocolate chip or maple pecan. So many possibilities in there. And I'm stunned at the flavour, that you can't detect that chickpea flavour unless you're looking for it. For more bizarre bakes using beans, butters and other beautiful things, hit subscribe, tap the bell icon and have a look at this.